In the 24-hour news cycle, our subscribers want information and they want it all the time.
The way of receiving that information has changed. The pervasiveness of it it's just exploded. I mean, it's everywhere. It's almost a barrage, basically, of media outlets.
BNA has a filter, and our filter really is the kind of, in a sense, the mind or the needs of the subscribers. That in order for us to really do our job, we really have to understand who it is that's buying our product and how they're using our product.
BNA correspondents, of course, spend a lot of time in the field looking for original documents, story ideas, and they pitch those ideas to editors back here at BNA. The discussion between the correspondent and the editor is to identify the stories and how those would or would not interest their readers.
BNA correspondents have access to a number of lawmakers, policymakers, other people who are in a position to influence legislation and regulation at the state level. And they have access in large part because BNA's reputation extends from Washington to the state level.
In addition to having these correspondents around the country, BNA has a global network of correspondents. Whether it's Beijing or Brussels or any place in between, there is someone at work on a BNA story.
We are writing for people who have already read the headlines. Over breakfast with their coffee and their orange juice, they already know what's quote-unquote going on in the world and maybe what's going on in their city or their little tiny suburb where they live. But when they get to their desk in their office and there's a BNA publication waiting for them there on the desk, that publication is going to tell them how they should do their job that day.
The reason that I find the BNA report valuable is that it's very difficult in a national practice to keep on top of all of the issues that affect your clients nationwide.
They're not coming to it on a superficial basis, and they bring an extraordinary amount of expert analysis to their end product. So it's not just reporting, but it's knowledge, deep knowledge, and very incisive analysis.
Every morning when I log onto my computer, I get hit with a swarm of information from various sources. I do my best to hit the delete button effectively so that I hone in on what's needed, which is BNA.
BNA has 170 reporters who are credentialed through the Periodical Press Gallery to cover the Congress. And it's important to have that many because we are sending reporters every day all over the Capitol complex.
The fact that BNA has more credentialed reporters on Capitol Hill than any other news organization gives it an ability to get really in-depth news and analysis across to its readers.
We provide a level of coverage that no other news organization is going to provide. We cover things with a breadth that most organizations can't really do. You know, we do have this complete picture where you've got people at the state and local level, at Washington and internationally, and no issue just is isolated at one level. So you need people at all these different levels to create a complete picture.
I think the most important thing for BNA to do is to give them information that they can really use. It's drilling down to a level of depth that they're not going to get from the headlines, that they're not going to get from the 24/7 news cycle, and frankly they're not going to get from news sources who maybe are not as committed to making sure that the information is accurate, that it's attributed to a good source, that it's conveyed objectively, and that it's done with fairness.
I have literally been at hearings before where people come up to me and say, "Are you the BNA reporter?" And when you answer yes, they hand you a stack of their prepared testimony of their background information and they say, "I want to make sure BNA has this."